I want to silence some of the noise here on the internet out here in YouTube land. That I go to dealerships, I don't know, 2 and 3 times a week, and I police the waiting room area, the service area. I police everything that's going on. At not one point in time have I ever seen a customer talking to a mechanic while they're in the dealership. Never. Never. And I don't ever remember anybody in the waiting rooms at Toyota, Nissan, Mercedes, Chevy, Ford. I go to dealerships multiple times a week all over here in Philadelphia and South Jersey getting parts. And trust me, I listen and I look. No customers are saying, can I speak to the mechanic? Nobody's pulling up in front of the doors and asking the mechanics in their bays, can you just check something for me? Or can you tell me why my engine light's on? Or can you give me some oil? Or can you put some air in the tire? That shit doesn't go on in a dealership. Nor does it go on in my bays. There may be some circumstances where it's a family member that's a mechanic at the dealership or a friend, and they may come out and say hello. Other than that, your point of contact with the dealership is the service writer and the service manager. That's it. You're not going to get the mechanic to stop his flat rate pay to come up here and answer any of your questions. Caleb, when you worked at Ford, did any of the mechanics ever go up front and talk to customers? Never. That shit don't happen. It's not their job. They don't care if the customer doesn't know what a lug nut is or a cabin air filter. The mechanic doesn't care. His job is to service, repair, and maintain that car. Customer interaction is all management team, service writer team, customer service, and cashier. That's it. None of my experiences at any dealership do I hear any customer saying, can I speak to your mechanic? No. It's not the case. No reason for you to have to talk to the mechanic. There's none. You talk, I need an oil change. The mechanic's going to check it out. He's going to tell the service writer, this is what the car is here for, this is what the car needs, and this is the maintenance that it needs at this mileage. And anything else that he sees at that car. Past that, he don't want to talk to the customer because he's not getting paid for that shit. These guys hear the same thing. They're no different than me. The customer pulls up and says, hey, can you put air in my tires? Sorry, you have to go up front. And then they get pissed. Then they go up front, and then they hear how the process works, and they drive away. For, hey, can you just tell me why my check engine light's on? No, you have to go up front and sign in and talk to the service writer or the office manager. And as soon as they come out of the office, they get in their car and leave. Most of my experiences, it's information seekers or looking for free things, and that's not here, and that's not at the dealership. So there are certain places that you can. If you ever go by Pep Boys and Mavis, they have chains across the bay doors. Why do you think that is? So if the doors are open, they have the yellow caution changes. Stay out, customers. We don't want you in the bays. Not for the only reason that we don't want you stopping our mechanics or distracting them while they're working in the hazardous environment that they are. Their job is not to speak to you. They don't know pricing. They don't know anything other than how to fix cars, and that's what their job is. It's not personal. No one's being mean. But like I said, I don't see this shit going on at any dealerships that I go to, let alone today I went to Toyota. I didn't hear not one person say, can I speak to the mechanic? I was at Nissan last week, 30 people in the waiting room. Not one person. I was at Kia today. I was the only person at the service counter when I walked in with 3 service writers. And the only person who was talking to the customer that came in behind me was the service writers. And they had a waiting room full of people in their waiting room, and then they had a line of cars in the intake. And those people weren't even talking to the people who were taking their cars in. You have an appointment, sir? Yep. Okay. Are you leaving? Yep. See you later. No one's discussing what's wrong with the car and how much things cost. You know what it was? The guy was taking a video of the car, the mileage, the tag, the damaged exterior, and then once it gets into the service department, that service technician doesn't have to worry about the nonsense at the front end of the business. That's all taken care of. Somebody else is dealing with the customer and the mileage, the tag, the VIN, and their concerns on why they're here. And any cosmetic damage or warning lights are on at that point in time is all off the mechanic's shoulders. Now it's all on the front team, and then the back team is, okay, now the customer's here. Let's get to why they're here and what they need and warranty and maintenance and blah, 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 blah. Really no interaction with the mechanic. None. Crazy. At some shops, when you build a relationship with the customer, like Caleb will go and say, hey, so-and-so's here, he'll see him out in the parking lot, he'll stop what he's doing, hey, how are we doing, blah, 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 what can I do for you? Because of the relationship that was built, knowing that he's not asking him for a price or asking him to do something for free or just, something like that. It's the relationship with the regular customers that builds that. And same thing with me. Sometimes I'll see somebody up there that's here a lot. I'll just wave and say hello. They don't really need to speak to me. Whatever their problems are, the front team is prepared to handle that. That's what that's for. We're out here doing a job so we can process cars and get it done, get it back to you in a timely manner without being distracted of what's going on in the parking lot or in the office. We're just fixing cars, troubleshooting cars, maintaining cars.
The only time I'll go direct to customer, besides the customer of the shop, is if Rachel's busy on the phone, there's a customer waiting, and I'm sitting there with nothing to do.
Right, there's a fallback plan, but we don't really.
But that is very, very rare.
Slim. Rachel has it all handled up front, Very rarely do we have to go up there and help her do her job.
Well,
she can handle that.
Like I said, that's only if she's dealing with one customer on the phone and I see another customer waiting.
But the comment was in the section that stay away from this shop because we don't talk to customers. We're the mechanics.
I can talk to customers.
We can.
That's not my job.
Correct. It's not your job. And most mechanics' job isn't to talk to the customers about why they're here or what's going on. That's the intake window, you know. When you walk into the bank, you don't walk up to the tellers and then ask them for a loan.
Yeah.
They have people for that. You go and talk to them for that. They don't talk loans. Nope. As soon as, hey, I need a loan, they're going to point to you and say you need to go over there, talk to the manager or the customers, the loan team or finance team. Personal, everyone. There's some days I don't want to talk to myself. And there's some days I just want to stay in my little bubble and do my job and not hear from anybody else. I just want to fix cars and go about my life. Watch this. Being burned welding and doesn't need to be distracted by anybody banging on the window, and this happens. I just need some air in my tires. Not the environment. And it's not personal.
I had a guy parked in the middle of the lot, parked out of his car. Well, he could be first, but we had the doors open. I didn't respond to him.
Right.
You beeping means no.
Yeah. You beeping at us, waving at us.
Walked right in the shop. Walked right in the shop like you worked here or was one of our friends. Yeah. And what are you doing?
Right. Or how about this? How about the dude when the doors are open and there's an empty bay? They pull into the bay and I walk over and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. They had their front tires.
What are you doing? Well, I'm here for service. Yeah, this isn't a parking spot.
I remember that.
All types of shit goes on. You'd be shocked. And ain't the first time. I've had many people try and drive up on the drive-on or ask me if they could pull their own car in. I don't know where these people get their car fixed, but whew, that ain't going on at the dealerships, and it sure ain't going on up in here.